We always think of having a high IQ as this amazing superpower, right? It's like a golden ticket to success. But what if that gift has a hidden price tag? Today, we're going to dive into some of the surprising and honestly pretty challenging downsides of being exceptionally smart. Okay, so have you ever had that feeling where you're trying to explain something that seems so incredibly obvious to you, but all you get back are just blank stares? Or maybe you find yourself thinking so deeply about things that you end up feeling totally isolated. Well, if any of that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And believe it or not, there are some very real psychological reasons behind it. And that feeling right there is really the core of what we call the intelligence paradox. See, on the outside, what does society see? They see all the cool perks, the quick wit, the big achievements. But on the inside, the experience can be a whole different story, one that's filled with challenges that honestly almost nobody ever talks about. So let's break this down, because this really gets to the heart of it all. On one side of the coin, you've got all the things people expect. Learning things at a snap, solving tough problems, basically being set up for success. But then there's the other side. These are the hidden costs we're really going to get into today. Something called communication fatigue, a heavy dose of existential anxiety, and a loneliness that can be, well, pretty profound. All right, let's jump into the first major cost. This is something that pops up in just countless daily interactions. The best way to think about it is like you're constantly lost in translation. It's about that exhausting, draining effort of trying to bridge the gap between your own complex thoughts and how everyone else seems to see the world. And this feeling has a name. It leads to a very specific kind of burnout called communication fatigue. And let's be super clear here, this isn't about being arrogant or being bad at communicating. It's actually the total opposite. It's the sheer mental exhaustion that comes from having to constantly translate these rich, multi-layered ideas in your head into simplified little sound bites that other people can easily get. And this process, man, it can become this really frustrating loop. Just think about it. First, you have this complex idea in your head. Then you put in all this effort to simplify it for your audience. Step 3, you check to see if they get it. And, a lot of the time it's just crickets. So what do? You have to go back to the drawing board, re-simplify again, maybe try a different analogy, and just repeat the whole thing. It can totally turn what should be a simple connection into a real chore. Okay, let's shift gears to the second cost. Now we're moving away from the external world of talking to people and going internal, into the world inside your own head. This one's all about what we call the burden of awareness. Basically, the weight of being just hyper-aware of all the world's complexities. And you know who said it best? Albert Einstein. He said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know." And that just nails it, doesn't it? Having a really powerful intellect doesn't mean you have all the answers. In fact, it often does the exact opposite. It just shows you the gigantic scale of everything that's unknown, and maybe even unknowable. And that can be, well, both humbling and really unsettling. So what does this look like in practice? Well, while a lot of people might be just skimming the surface of life, a highly analytical mind can get, kind of stuck on these much heavier topics. You're not just thinking about what's for dinner tonight. No, you're grappling with the search for ultimate meaning. You're seeing all the hypocrisies and cracks in our social systems. You're thinking about the finality of it all. This can create this persistent, low-level hum of anxiety that's just always there in the background. And that brings us to our third and final cost. And this one might be the most personal of them all. It's that deep, profound loneliness that comes from just searching for a true peer. Someone who just gets it without you having to explain every little thing. So let me throw a number at you, just 2%. Think about that. That's roughly how many people in the entire population have an IQ of 130 or higher, which is a pretty common benchmark for what's considered gifted. And that tiny number, it explains so much, doesn't it? I mean, when you really stop and think that only about 2 out of every 100 people you meet might process the world on a similar wavelength, that feeling of being an outsider, it stops being just a feeling. It's a straight-up statistical reality. Finding your tribe literally becomes a numbers game. And honestly, the odds just aren't in your favor. So, okay, we've laid out all these pretty heavy challenges. So what's the point of all this? Where do we go from here? Look, the goal is absolutely not to complain about being smart. Not at all. It's about understanding the unique landscape of your own mind and learning how to reframe these challenges in a much more constructive way. And this right here is probably the most important takeaway. If you're someone who experiences these things, please know they're not character flaws. They're not just things to complain about, they are valid psychological side effects of operating with a different kind of wiring. And just recognizing that, both in yourself and maybe in others, that is the first crucial step towards real empathy and true connection. So I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. For anyone out there who feels just a little bit out of sync with the world, is finding your tribe, your people, just a nice little luxury, or is it a fundamental human need? Something that's absolutely essential for our well-being? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me.